Good morning, Royals. This is a Realist Tea Talk where we can speak our real and help each other heal. Hello, my name is Angie, and unfortunately, God did not bless me with the ability to sugarcoat anything. And I'm going to take a sip of tea on that. So let's just hop right in. The topic today is mental health in the African American community. So I want to start by going over what exactly mental health is. So mental health is our emotional, our psychological, and our social well-being. Our mental health affects how we feel, think, and act. It helps determine how we deal with stress, how we relate to each other, and how we make choices. Mental health is not determined by your race, your ethnicity, your sexual orientation. It can, though, be based upon biological factors such as your genetic makeup, the chemical balance in your brain, life experiences, traumatic events, abuse you've experienced, and also family history if you have a history within your family of mental health conditions that can contribute to your mental health. So today I want to focus specifically on the African community and mental health, the reason why we are the way we are and why we are experiencing the things that we are experiencing today. I just want to bring a little information, which you'll be able to find the sources to my information below in the comments so that you can access this information, draw your own opinions, do your own research, and stay knowledgeable. So if you know me, you know I have my notes, so don't mind if I'm looking down. I'm just making sure I'm staying on topic. I'm trying to keep it short and sweet for us today. So according to the National Alliance on Mental Illness, there are a couple issues that we need to consider when we are trying to understand mental health in the African American community. So for one, the lack of information and misunderstanding mental health. So within our community as Black people, I'm sure some of you can relate, even like from past experiences or even things that you have heard as you were growing up, that many of us do not like to talk about mental health. We see it as a weakness. We don't really look into it or even try to understand it. It's more so of a situation that we like to sweep under the rug. And as in any situation, ignorance breeds fear, and it triggers the fight and flight process in our bodies. So we develop a defense mechanism to deal with our misunderstanding of mental health. Not shameful, but we can be ashamed of having a mental illness, and we also are prideful. Over the years, we have had to build this hard exterior in order to even survive through a lot of the disparities that we experience as a people together. So we also need to consider our faith, our spirituality, and our community, and how we as African Americans use those sometimes as a crutch or even a source of information and a source of security when it comes to mental illnesses. Now, this is understandable coming from the point of view that I am living in a society that now is saying that mental health is an issue that I need to worry about. But I'm going to seek help, and all I see are people that can't possibly help me with what I'm going through. They cannot understand what I'm going through. And this is completely understandable. How can Karen help me with my problems? Karen knows nothing about what it's like to be me. So how can she help me? But in the same breath, my question is, how is your homegirl qualified to assist you with your issues either. Like, we go and we find comfort in our social circles, but at the same time, if our social circles had the answers, none of us would be here. So another issue, that you have to consider is our reluctance and the inability for us to access these services. Like I said before, the bias, the systemic racism, the socio-economic factors that we have experienced causes us to second guess and be reluctant to seek help. We believe that ain't nothing anyone can tell us about ourselves. We know ourselves. What do I need to go talk to somebody about? Cultural incompetence by the healthcare providers feeds that reluctance. So we have to work together to make the change. It's not just one person, it's all of us. It is a personal and internal growth that needs to happen in order for us to be able to come together and understand each other and be able to live as just good human beings. So one last issue that they mentioned we have to consider when trying to understand the mental health situation in our African American community is the inequality of care. We have to be aware that African Americans and any minority historically have been kept from having the resources that they need in order to make sure that they are healthy. So we have to take that into consideration, that all cultures are different, and as a healthcare provider, I need to make sure that I am culturally competent when I am dealing with different patients, and putting responsibility on us as healthcare professionals to take that extra step to ensure that we are giving our patients the optimal care that they deserve. Everyone deserves the same care. So we should take a step back and be culturally competent. A lot of healthcare workers are not taking the time to understand each culture and how they like to take care of themselves, and practices that they would love to keep implemented within their lifestyle without having to be reprogrammed, for lack of better words. The system feeds bias into healthcare workers, and the continuity of care amongst the healthcare workers is not being practiced. We have judgment, we have unconscious bias where they don't even think it's anything wrong, but when you have a patient that is a different culture, me pushing my beliefs onto them is not okay, and that causes a ripple effect and causes African Americans, just because that is the culture we are speaking on today, to be reluctant in seeking care for mental illness. And mental illness is a big part of the African American community because we have gone through those traumatic events, that abuse that I mentioned earlier, that can factor into mental health. We as a culture, we as a people have been through it together for 400 plus years. So it has a generational effect on us. So just to close out, I want to mention some positive things because it's been a little negative, and I like to keep my energy clean. I like to bring you the facts, but also bring you ways to help you build yourself and grow. So when you have a healthy brain, when your mental health is at optimal functioning, it allows people to realize they are full of potential. It allows us to cope with stresses of life. It allows us to work productively, and it allows us to make meaningful contributions to our community. If we get our mentality healthy and we work on growing as a nation together, those things I just listed will come naturally. Just think about it. And then lastly, ways that we can maintain mental health. So getting professional help, breaking that generational gap in that we can't trust the healthcare system. We can't go to anyone and talk because that's weakness. So get professional help if you need it. Everyone knows themselves better than anyone can ever know them, so you will feel the difference. We need to start connecting with each other, staying positive, getting physically active, helping each other, just being good human beings just makes you feel better and do better. When you feel better, you do better. But yes, we need to understand that mental health is real and it is very, very much necessary. So keep your spirits and your energy clean and just be good human beings. It's nothing wrong with that. Respect each other, treat each other with dignity, just the way you would want to be treated. It does not matter if the person is not like you, doesn't look like you, doesn't like the same things you do. I promise you, they bleed the same and will sleep the same at night. So I want to tell all my African American family, don't give up. These are trying times. Keep being heard. Keep fighting for what we deserve. Unfortunately, we are going through a time this year, but like I said before, you can get all these resources down below in the link. I will add them, and make sure you do your own research, build your own opinions, like, comment, share. Let's have a conversation about this. Let's see if we all can come to an understanding and find a way to help our community and our nation understand mental health with African Americans and why we are the way we are. So just remember, keep your head up and 10 toes down, Royals. This has been a Realist Tea Talk. Till next time, kings and queens.